And good morning, everyone, for another morning coffee with Marcaida on a Wednesday, middle of the week, hump day. How's everybody doing on this Wednesday as we start off our day? Sun is out. It's a beautiful day. The pollen is killing me. I swear to God, I saw a plume of pollen just explode out of a tree. And at first I'm like, did something hit the tree? He goes, no, the branches weren't moving, but the plume just exploded. Did the tree just sneeze? But it's out there and it's killing my eyes. But we start off our morning cup of Joe with a coffee here. And how is everybody doing on this beautiful Wednesday? And I am grateful to be here to say hello to everyone and to at least say that I'm grateful that we're all here to be able to share our thoughts and broadcast something. And for today's broadcast, we always say the term adapt, improvise, and overcome. It is a state of being. It is something that we do as a habit. But how does that apply with other facets of our life that we take for granted? And I'm talking about as we age. Do we grow old or do we stop being young? And by that, I'm talking about at least some of the ways we operate and do things. One of the things I'm realizing as I'm aging is that I've given up a lot of things and I've blamed it on, well, we got busy with life. Or this happened, I got busy with that and everything else. Yet when I thought about that is no, I just stopped doing it rather than finding a way to adapt, improvise, and overcome it. Now, there are certain things that I kept on adapting and improvising and overcoming because it was so important to me. For example, my martial arts. Even when I was injured or even when I was, trying to rehabilitate other parts of me, I never gave it up. And I found some ways to adapt, improvise, and overcome those moves so that I can continue to do that. But what about other things in my life? Then I thought about, okay, well, as we age, definitely the body is one of the things that we say is a use or lose. The more you don't do it anymore, the less your body's going to be able to do it. So I've seen, some of the elderlies I talk to. I used to be able to do that till my knees gave out. So I stopped kicking, for example. We'll stay with the martial art world. I stopped kicking because I got bad knees. But instead of saying, well, were you able to adapt and improvise so that you can continue kicking? Meaning, did you rehabilitate the muscles that should support your knee so you can continue the movement rather than just give it up all the way? I got a bad back, so I can't do that. What about other facets of your being that you adapt and improvise? It may not come out that way, but you're still doing it. And when I look at our health as wealth, obviously, there's a lot of things that we want to do, but if we don't have the health to support that, sometimes you're not going to do it. But you're saying, well, I still had to give that up so that I still am able to provide a living, do things with my family, do all that. So you're able to do all that except this one thing. Why is it this one thing that you didn't adapt and improvise? Because it wasn't that important to you. But later in life, you come back and going, yeah, it was important until this thing happened. Now I don't do that anymore. So I gave that up. No, you lost it. You gave up on it. You didn't adapt, improvise, and overcome to find a way so that you're still able to do it. I mean, when I look at the elderly now doing the Tai Chi movements, let's say in the park, they're basically just moving. Now, in my martial art world, yeah, there are certain moves that I will always do because it's part of the key thing that I do, but I also understand that it will develop an imbalance. If it's all about forward momentum and forward swinging, then what about the muscles that the opposite of that are no longer developed? They become weak, and that's why you end up snapping. You get to develop these imbalances that you have to adapt and improvise to make sure that those muscles that are not being used are still being exercised because they're the support to give the major muscles that you use so you don't develop imbalances. So you have to really think about your whole being as being complete. There are imbalances, you overdevelop one part, but then what about the parts that you're not developing that support that? You have to look at that. And then you start looking at the things that are important to you, the hobbies that you do, the passions that you do, the things that you do. What have I done that when something happened, I'm no longer able to do it or I lost it? And in terms of doing that, if I can do that physically, where I've learned to adapt, improvise to overcome that, what about emotionally? What have I done to adapt and improvise to overcome my friendships, my love, my being with people, the things that are important that are not physical anymore, but are the extensions of me? So I thought about it, I go, wow, that's true. Everything takes work if it's important enough for you. So you need to find that. If friendships have broken down, well, how do I adapt? Maybe I'm the one who needs to reach out and say hello. Or being a kind word. I need to be kinder nowadays because of the way I see that. That is the one evolution that I would love. And we talk about evolution. Everything we do is we evolve into something. Am I evolving to a better person, to the best version of me? Or have I given up on that and used the excuses of life happening to me as an excuse like, well, I used to do that until that happened. Well, is it important enough for me? If it is, if I find that it is something that I need to adapt, improvise, and overcome that to find a new me, a better version of me, despite what life has given me. Because we're constantly already doing it, folks. We're constantly adapting, improvising. Everything that happens is that, because the one thing that is constant is change. The question is, what are those hidden muscles that I've forgotten about that will become an imbalance if I don't pay attention to them? What are those hidden relationships that I've forgotten about that have gotten me to where I am? That's why Memorial Day was so important for us, to remember those on whose shoulders we stand on, to be able to have these freedoms today. Have we forgotten about those? How do I adapt, improvise, and overcome and remember them so that these lessons are not lost with them, but is continued through us and those that we touch in our lives? Same thing. So think about that, folks. And have a great, beautiful Wednesday. And if you happen to be at the Atlanta Blade Show this weekend, I'll be there on Saturday from 11 to 2 p.m. doing a meet and greet and talking about the Tribal K and the different versions of that. And just a meet and greet overall. So, have a great Wednesday and take care, folks. Talk to you soon.